Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Faeforge Academy. Thank you for your patience as we dealt with multiple layers of tech issues this morning, but we are here and all in one piece. If you are here, if you would be willing to support our channel by just sharing our Go Live tweet, just linked it in the whatever the thing is where you type the words and stuff. Yeah, before we get started, thank you so much for being here. We have one overarching rule, and that is respect. And what that entails is learning how to type for me. But that being in anyone's stream, our stream, is you're part of a social contract just by being here, and that is that you are going to respect the cast, each other in chat, which means no bigotry, no hatred, no hate speech. We respect people's pronouns, we respect people's gender identities, we respect people's ethnic and racial identities and experiences, and anything outside of that gets you kicked out with no chance of returning. We don't give second chances for that kind of stuff. Want to say thank you to Roll20 for having the Faeforge Academy, this stream, and the other streams we've done as a part of the Roll20 Spotlight program. We get a lot of cool, fun tools to play with it on Roll20, which is really awesome. We are also affiliated with Found Familiar Coffee. So if you like coffee, this is honestly, it's amazing. It's amazing coffee. Go to foundfamiliar.com and use the code Faeforge. You get a little discount, as well as Greenleaf Geek for all your dice needs. Leah's an amazing dice creator, makes a lot of cool stuff. And those are both ways to support the stream and all the other shows that we do here. With that, I'd like all of my wonderful castmates to say who they are, and then I'm going to hand it over to Chris to take us back on a magical journey. And let's start this week with Prince.
Oh boy, it's me. Hi, Prince, also known as Dimples and Dicer on the internet. I am playing Dracis, Minotaur Samurai, and struggling old man. See my dice rolls. Struggling.
Leona.
Hello, I am Leona. You can find me on Twitter at the Leona Maple. And today I am playing our beloved Warforged clockwork sorcerer named Sunflower, our innocent precious bean.
Yeah, B.
Hello all, it is I, your non-binary busy bee, and I'm joining you playing the most chaotic and yet accomplished fairy rogue Morticia and her shadow Adam. Adam is around, if you just look hard enough somewhere. Yeah.
And our illustrious GM, Chris, and after you introduce yourself, Chris, you can take over, and it's all you.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Geary, and I am the GM for the Reclamation project. You can find me at Chris Geary on Twitter or here on Thursdays when we dive into the continent of Karen and some of the past that is coming back to the present as the world of Evastria heals. I don't remember if Stephen mentioned this before, but all of the Faeforge streams and main podcast overlap. So if you are a listener of any of the previous mini campaigns or of the main podcast, you might hear references from time to time that cross over between them. And hopefully that's as fun for you as it is for us to design. So, with that being said, we find ourselves on a Nairene airship headed to the mountains. It is in search of a somewhat special locale that is according to their hosts, the folks on the airship, connected to what they call the Order of Eight. Our heroes encountered references to the Order of Eight when they were in the Vault of Riverheart. And now, as bits and pieces start to overlap and intertwine, their paths have crossed with Brina Shatterforged, a dwarf with an artifact that was lovingly referred to as a rock baby earlier on, and captain of the ship, Jamba Amenot, and then 2 elven individuals from Nairene of a lesser noble house of Nio and Karis Craxador. They are brother and sister. Along the way, our trip, some of our players and their our characters got a chance to interact with the cast, or not the cast, the cast of the ship. Got to interact with them and remind the audience what it was that you took away from that particular situation. What was it that was of benefit to you? And I'm going to start with Morticia. I remember there was a bonding moment last week.
Okay, I did not write down the names as you were saying them.
Karis is the one that you bonded with the
Karis,
hair
right?
clip.
Because I have a friend who has a cat named Karis.
There you go.
I'm so sorry. And then
Nio is Karis's brother.
thank you.
Jamba is the captain, and Brina is the dwarf.
With the rock baby.
Forge, with the rock baby. Also from a well-known family of crafters.
Ooh. Okay, so you just want to know how we've been spending our time?
Well, we kind of touched on that, and I just wanted to review for the audience. Remember, for example, Morticia had noticed that Karis had a similar hairpin.
Yes.
And I believe you became instant best friends, right?
Mm-hmm. As you do when you have matching hairpins.
Exactly. And then
There's no other choice.
What was there? What else was there that Morticia would have done in the day and a half, 2 days of travel time?
Probably learned absolutely everything about sailing that she possibly could have gotten out of Karis.
Excellent.
Just harassed Karis nonstop about, because I don't know, I don't think Morticia's really been on a boat for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like an airship. Yeah, she can fly. Sure, that takes time, but airships are just there for decoration. They're there for people without wings.
Very true.
Yeah. So Morticia's got a lot of questions. Why so many strings? Why so much wood? What's up with that wheel? How long can I spin it for before something happens? All the regular questions.
Excellent. Those are excellent questions.
Can I touch it? Can I touch it? Can I touch this? What about this? Can I touch this?
That might be the most important question that's happening right now, but you will be received quite well. Karis actually finds you delightful.
Oh, thank goodness.
Jamba is a little less delightful.
Yeah, that's the usual reaction.
The captain is a little concerned by your desire to, experiment, we shall say, with everything. And, his ship's his baby.
That's a weird baby.
Yeah, very weird baby for some people. But, he's a little more cautious around you, shall we say. And... But no, the reception is actually well received. You clearly have made instant best friends with Karis. That's beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
She's a curious sort of her own. Very, shall we say, exuberant and. Mm-hmm. What kind of experience has Morticia had with elves, the Sylvan cousins of the Fae?
Sylvans particularly, probably positive, especially if they were under 100 years, maybe. When they still make really bad personal choices.
Gotcha.
But maybe not any elves over 100 to 150, because that's when they realize I gotta be serious. I'm gonna be alive for another couple hundred years.
Well, you've noticed that Karis never lost that exuberance
Yes.
that you attribute to under 100.
I don't know if that's ageist, probably.
Now, whether or not you guys have actually discussed age, which you may or may not have, or if it came up,
own age.
You've noticed that she seems to remind you of those who have not lost that air of excitement.
Probably does a lot of good things for Morticia's heart. She has a lot of like fond memories, but the memories are just kind of blanks, and it's only the feelings.
Gotcha.
So these are feelings that want to be captured again.
Excellent. Now, as a refresher, Drasis, Shatterforged is a clan name that was very familiar to you. It's one of the reasons that you took the invitation to Karen, if I remember correctly. What was his name? Did you write it down? I know I did. I just have to find the page. Oh, there's the page. Eldrick Shatterforged was the name given to you of a master smith that could repair your sword, supposedly.
Yeah, I think Drasis would have been definitely talking that up. But I also think Drasis, after getting the information that he could about, as far as where this person might be, learning about the family, what they know about repairing magical swords, Drasis would then just get to work. Like, Drasis needs to be doing something with his hands. So, like, be it just mopping the boat, whatever. Drasis is like anywhere and everywhere people want him to be. That would be helpful.
Just pitching in.
Yeah.
Jamba obviously loves that about you. At first is a little like standoffish. You're huge compared to him. He's not small, but he's human. And he's just very much like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And and because of your regimented background, I assume that you take to the whole giving and receiving of orders pretty swiftly.
Absolutely.
And
this is not my ship. I will take the captain's orders, whatever the captain wants me to do. I'm here.
Perfect. He warms up to you quite quickly. Well, maybe not friends, but there's definitely respect that is quickly earned between the two of you. You will learn from Brina that her father is Eldrick, and that she had apprenticed under him and is in line to take over the family forge when he retires. So she's very knowledgeable of the field in which you are concerned about. How much you choose to share with her is up to you. And especially, you didn't have to do it over that period of time, but just in your encounters with her. But she's very proud of the fact that she is the heir apparent of the Shatterforged name and business, as it has quite the reputation, at least among the Dwarven holds.
I don't know if Drasis would show her the sword. I think he'd be going back and forth.
Okay.
Like in his head, because like this is a big thing.
And you just only recently opened up about it to the companions you're traveling with.
And I have like this broken shard and the sword, and I'm like, do I want to give this to someone? Like, this is, so I'm sure she's asked questions about like, why am I asking so many questions about repairing broken swords?
Well, to be honest, she just assumes that you're interviewing for about a job, and so she's taking it like in stride. She's not
excellent.
She doesn't seem to push at all. She's taking the amount of information that you want, kind of like a professional would for any sort of quote sort of situation where someone comes to them about a possible job.
Given Drasis's lack of charisma, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. and she's very personable, but not she doesn't oversell. You can tell she's excited, but she definitely doesn't oversell. She's very straightforward in how she talks about her family and what they do.
Okay, cool.
Vincent.
Yeah. Vincent wouldn't do this the whole time for the 2-ish days that we're traveling, but whenever Drasus is mopping or doing something like that, Vincent would just, I don't know, like knock over a cup or
Oh my god.
or do something of that, just like, Drasus, there's a spill over here. You missed it. I don't know if you noticed. Probably only a couple times. Just
Dresses, what's your passive perception? I'm just curious.
My passive perception is a 11.
11. And what would be your passive sleight of hand? Like your dex plus 10. Or dex plus 8 for Vincent. Is it is passive? How is passive?
I can't
is
remember.
It 10
I
plus?
think it's 10 plus. Yeah.
10 plus.
Probably,
yeah.
yeah.
10
10 plus
so
your
that'd be plus my
modifier.
dex. 10.
10. So I would say that unless you're actively trying to be sneaky about it.
Oh, I'm actively trying to be annoying about it.
Oh, so not sneaky at all.
No.
So you catch out of the corner of your eye almost every time that Vincent is somehow involved in whatever mess it was. But unless of course you're engrossed in what you're doing. So
I think
do with that what you will.
I think the Drasus would take it in stride and act like nothing's happening because I know that Vincent is trying to get a rise out of me, and I'm not going to give him the satisfaction.
Oh, I like it.
Amazing.
I like that rivalry.
But then Vincent would probably ask a little bit more about the, if possible, it was Brina who had the
rock baby,
yeah, the rock baby. I think Vincent, if he could spend a little bit of time like looking at it and studying it and trying to figure out anything, I think he would do that, and then mostly would be out of the way of the crew, absolutely not helping, but I don't know, sipping on tea, just kind of enjoying the journey.
I like to imagine Drasus mopping around you.
Yeah.
Like pull out like or set up some sort of like chaise set situation on the deck, and just kind of lounge with a glass of tea or a cup of tea, that kind of thing.
And just like when I'm out of tea, just the closest crew member that's walking by, just flagging them down. And
oh my god, everybody hates you here.
Used to it. He thinks Vincent would assume that the hate that he is experiencing is just like how normal people treat other people.
Oh my gosh. I probably come visit you in your weird like your makeshift chaise lounge and your empty cup of tea, like, oh, you've been snapping for so long. Do you want more tea? I could fly into a cloud, scoop some cloud water, and then throw it on your face. Would that be good?
Oh, I'm not on my face, no. But if you wouldn't mind taking some time to fill up my cup, that would be lovely.
I'll find something.
You don't
probably
need to,
mop water.
We
is
could
what
probably
I end up with.
well, we could find someone else. I'm sure there's another. The crew has been very accommodating.
Nope, I got your teacup already.
No, that's garbage water. I'm not interested in. Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Just so you don't feel completely lonely this visit. This trip.
And surprisingly enough, she flies off with the teacup without little issue. It seems that all that training with her heavy crossbow, aka fairy ballista, she's stronger than she looks when it comes to carrying things, individual items, of course.
Like one teacup or one crossbow.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Sunflower, remind us what you've been doing the past day and a half or two.
Oh, goodness. I think Sunflower has been really reflecting on the conversation that she had with the group last time. I think she's still very much kind of wrestling with herself because she's not quite clear on why she feels the duality within her. So I think she's been kind of like wrestling with that, but I think she's been trying to take it in stride. I think she's been kind of following Drasus. She kind of like is most drawn to the way Drasus is dealing with the situation, like helping out with the crew and talking to the people and making friends and all this kind of stuff. And it's almost like she's kind of like looking at her fellow party members and like looking at what they do and kind of using that to feel out like what she's most drawn to. And so like right now she's kind of drawn to the way Drasus is modeling his behavior, which is let's help, let's get to know these people. If we're going to be on their ship, we should make ourselves useful.
So I'm assuming you're one of the people that actually brings Vincent another cup of tea.
Yes, I do bring Vincent another cup of tea,
just so
that the crew doesn't have to keep doing it.
Fair enough.
I also mop when Drasus is not mopping. If someone's willing to teach me, I don't know if there's sales involved, then she'd be willing to learn sales. Like she's trying to make herself both helpful and like learn from the opportunity. Really,
as you all would have recognized quite quickly because of the way that the ship was undocked unceremoniously from Riverheart. There is only the 4 folks that you met and the 4 of you.
What?
The others were the people fleeing the boat, or they were out supplying at the time. So you all are the crew.
Oh no.
You're doing a wonderful job, everybody.
Oh.
Keep it up.
I'm tying the rigging, I think.
Oddly, you will... John Boat will tell you as often as possible, don't worry about it, don't touch it, it's fine.
Okay.
And he will... Well, Drasus, you'll figure out that this ship can operate pretty effectively with just 1 or 2 people. It's more of it's not the largest ship. It's more of, think like an oversized yacht.
How many feet are we talking? If you want
comparisons,
inches or meters, whatever one you do. I don't know.
We'll say around 20 to 25 meters.
Okay.
From bow to stern.
It's like map to freedom units now.
Yeah. We can convert that to freedom units if you wish. That would be 60 to 75 feet. I don't know what it would be in yards, and I'm not going to make that conversion off the top
Nobody
of my head.
actually use yards, and if they do, well, then you should stop.
Yards and meters are pretty close to one another.
They're pretty close.
Yeah.
So it's around the same.
Meters is good enough for me. It's fine. It's fine.
I got it.
Freedom units.
How many hands?
Ooh.
No.
How many hands? Well, as I mentioned before, there are only 8 hands, so you can count that however you wish.
Oh my god.
I think, yeah. To more serious note, I think this would drive Drasus to do even more.
Yeah.
Oh god,
sort of
yeah.
grunt work. Drasus is like, I will cut onions. I will, help in the kitchen, clean, whatever. Just to feel useful.
Nio seems to be taking care of the kitchen without any trouble. Every once in a while, Karis comes in to assist him, but he seems to be a fish to water when it comes to cooking. And so you all eat well. You don't have to worry about that. But if you do offer to help, he would, accept it. Jumbo will actually take you up on most of your help when it comes to things like, if there are adjustments that need to be made. You will learn quickly that the sales that you see are mostly for aesthetic purposes, because it really freaks people out to see ships that don't have sails still, even though airships have been around for a while. When the wind currents get really high, he actually has the sails come down because they get in the way. So from a technological standpoint, it's driven by 2 turbine engines, for lack of a better term, at the stern of the ship. that propel it forward. They rotate up and down for vertical descent, similar to some of the marine planes that the U.S. Marines have.
Which part's the stern?
The back.
Cool.
Just think like you got a stern back.
Sure.
There you go.
Does that help? Yeah.
Nah. Sure. It also has wings of sorts that are what most of the practical rigging is used for directional things. So when he spins or doesn't spin, but adjusts the wheel, it actually affects these wings that are out on the sides that then help it bank left or right and that sort of thing.
How secure is the wheel?
It is very secure.
Okay.
Like, Jamba rarely, if ever, leaves it.
Okay.
Especially with all of your questions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of the uncomfortable eye contact I think I've made with Jamba has been when I've been trying to like sneak up on the steering wheel. Haven't had a chance yet.
Yes.
Not a single one.
While it may not actually stop you, he does seem to have found some way to lock it in position when he has to leave it for a decent amount of time.
Okay. So picture Morticia, feet, hands, yanking at the steering wheel, trying to turn it, only using the very pitiful strength that she possesses. And then like hoping nobody sees her, and then as soon as there's footsteps, she flutters away.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. What's that steering wheel bar that they used to sell for cars?
Club.
Oh my god.
The club. Yeah, basically it's something like that. Think of something like that.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's a Evastria version of the club.
Oh.
And so like you get it to turn a little bit and then it just sticks in place.
Standard Narinian issue.
Yeah. But yeah. So as you guys travel along, you'll find that the weather has been pretty decent. No major storms have rolled through. A variety of clouds, but most of it has been either high enough in the sky or light enough that it hasn't impacted your course. As you approach the mountains, you find the winds pick up a little bit more, as the mountains themselves have a tendency to redirect air currents and the like, which can cause different intensities as it's kind of funneled through between peaks and such. But you make your way to the center of a cluster of peaks. There's a cluster of 5 peaks that you can see, and you land in what might look like a caldera of sorts. It's a depression between the peaks. It's very fertile, lots of a lot more vegetation that than you would expect at such an elevation. There is a lake there, and there is what looks like might have been a 6th peak at some point, but is now rounded off with age and erosion, and about center, maybe a little northwest of center in this bowl between the 5 peaks. And that's where the ship chooses to dock, so to speak. Right outside what looks like an opening, some sort of manufactured opening. You can tell by the arch stones that are put in place to hold it and brace it. Mm-hmm. It is extremely old, very weathered. The stairs leading up to it have crumbled in places. The steps from the base to the doorway, probably a few hundred steps. So it is a massive hike, so to speak. Think of kind of like the ascension at like Machu Picchu or some of the South American pyramids and Central American pyramids that people take photos of all the time. It's that kind of ascent to this doorway. And the Brina and the siblings will say, well, we've arrived.
Okay. Now what?
Chris, can you remind me what's the name of the place that like this mythological sort of like forge that this is supposed to be taking us to?
They don't know, but the stone itself, they felt when they deciphered a variety of the runes and such, it was coordinates to this place.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they believe it's connected to the Order of Eight in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But they are uncertain as to what it is. But there is so little to go off of, every string is worth pulling.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're here to follow. You probably have more information than we do about this place.
Who
Tell
has
us.
the Whimsy Stone right now?
I believe I do because Morticia kept flying off.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Let me see. In your hands, what might it do? I'm going to randomize this a little bit.
Ooh.
Concern.
A 5.
5. Okay. If you look at it, let me know.
Okay.
If it's not something Vincent would be concerned about after landing, and they're more focused on following their hosts, that's fine too.
Yeah, I think as of now, it's just in his pocket.
Fair enough.
Drassus has to tackle these stairs. He's looking at this like this is gonna be a challenge.
This is part of getting back into shape for Drassus.
Yeah, this here is just looking up at the stairs like.
Make sure you stretch, young buck.
I hope you use lotion.
Why?
Because you're looking a little ashy.
That's a permanent state. Unfortunately, lotion won't help it. I've come to
Better
accept
than
that's
the
who I
chafing
am. now.
comment I thought you were going to make.
Could have gone either way right there.
I was a little concerned.
Oh my god.
So, as you, I'm assuming that you look to ascend the stairs, yes?
Starts with step 1.
All right. As you all embark to ascend the stairs, I simply for flavor reasons would like everyone who's walking or not riding on Drassus, which I assume Morticia is doing.
Yep, Drassus or Karis.
To roll a we'll say
Like a
Constitution save. Yeah.
Good luck.
Save or check?
We'll go save because it can give you an added bonus. If you have athletics, you can roll that in place of it. If it's better, whatever is better.
$13.
Let's see, between those two, we'll do this for the siblings.
I feel like
Oof.
everybody's having a hard time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stairs.
I have a +7 on that. I wrote a 6.
All right. Oddly enough, it seems that Brina and Sunflower, being that Sunflower has, a different by biology, seem to be the ones that are having the least amount of trouble. Brina is very focused on getting to the top of these stairs and is taking the lead for one reason or another. Shortly behind them is Drasus, and followed by Vincent and Karis. Nio, unfortunately, just seems to be lagging quite a bit. I don't know if he just didn't stretch, if he hasn't had enough water lately.
You gotta hydrate extra when you're at higher elevations.
Yeah, he is huffing and puffing, and probably, he's losing ground and is easily 12 to 20 steps behind Vincent and Karis.
Can I scream motivational obscenities?
Absolutely.
Okay. You got this! You're slow as shit, but I believe in you! Move those little legs! They're not going anywhere! Keep pumping the legs! Up, down, forward, go! Yes! Did that...
With all the love in his heart, he laughs at you because he finds it hilarious. Or at your commentary. Maybe at you, but probably at your commentary. And just kind of waves you off like, it's okay, keep going, I'll catch up.
Okay. Don't fall asleep on the stairs, because you'll never wake up.
And he stops and looks at the stairs and goes, noted.
Just like snow. Exact same difference.
He shakes his head, completely and utterly confused by that. But focuses in, and he's holding his side like he's cramping and taking his steps at kind of a hobbling pace. The rest of you will catch up to the two at the front in short order. But Sunflower, you and Brina get to the doors before the rest. And they seem to have been somewhat of an optical illusion from the ship and the position on the ground, because these doors are massive. They are probably 2 stories tall. And I would say close to the width of the ship itself, but not quite. Because it's a double door kind of situation.
Oh my.
And about a third of the way up the doors, you see handles.
Am I tall enough to reach them? I'm about average height.
No.
I mean,
They're not like completely, like, they're close enough that you didn't not try. So it's not like you're standing underneath like a regulation basketball hoop or something.
Right.
But they are easily a hand or two worth out of reach.
Right, just out of reach. Got it.
I can try.
Please feel free. I'm not too sure what to do here.
Yeah. So are they... What kind of door handles are we talking here?
They
Push pull? Is it like
they're pull. They're pull.
Okay.
They are pull handles, and they seem to they're in the style of like wrought iron, where it's that twisted kind of
Really heavy.
really heavy. However, with your passive perception, you notice that what at first you thought as you flew up to them might have been rusted, but they are not. They are actually, that is the color of the metal.
Oh.
Is this reddish,
Like brassy. Almost.
no, not that red.
No. Okay.
More a like a deeper red. The closest thing you've ever seen similar to it before would have been the sword that Drasus pulled out.
Oh, I'll make an offhanded comment then, like, oh, this ugly metal looks like the same metal you hold, Drasus. Look, and I'll like display the handle.
Drasis, they are actually, the handles are, you would have to reach above your head, but you could grab them with a full fist.
Yeah, I think Drasis will do that. And pointedly ignore that comment.
But because of that comment, you clearly do notice they look like the same metal.
For sure.
Which, according according to the legends for the audience, it is a red steel, supposedly only known to be made by fire giants.
Very cool.
You will. How are you planning on opening the door? Like, because you have to pull it open. Are you going to the right one, to the left one? Are you using anything for leverage?
Probably going to. Let's see. What can I use?
Before
I will take my crossbow, my heavy crossbow, actually, and use that as like a hook to pull the door, and I'll pull the left one open.
Okay. Vincent, you were about to interrupt.
I was going to say, before he pulls it open, is there anything about this door, like, I want to see if there's anything magical about the door, if possible. If I could do like an Arcana or something like that.
Sure. Cool. We'll say as he's preparing to open the door, you
a big old 9.
9. Okay. There is nothing that seems to like stand out as mystical or magical of any sort. You do notice, though, between the comment that Morticia made, drawing your attention to it, that there is something different about the metal. The hinges, the handles, the bolts that hold them in place are all of this red tinged metal that and there's just something different about it.
Yeah. I'll just right before Drasis pulls it open, I'll just say I don't know exactly what all of this is, but we should definitely be cautious. I don't think there's anything innately bad, but it is not normal.
When does anything bad ever happen in a mountain?
Like all the time.
So what is normal?
It's very unique, I guess you could say. It's not.
It's red metal. Doesn't taste as good when you lick it. The end.
Yeah, did you actually lick it?
Of course.
Oh, it was a little spicy.
Ooh.
Like it tingled your tongue.
Okay. It's okay. Alright,
I don't know if Morticia likes spicy food or not, but it definitely was spicy.
I feel like they probably have spicy food in the Feywilds. You know?
That works.
A lot of things that grew to not be eaten and have still been consumed.
There you go.
I suspect Drasis will just, like, before he opens the door, he's like, just in case, you all should be ready.
Okay.
Vincent backs the hell up.
Your 3 compatriots also kind of step to the side, away from the direction the door will pull open.
Yep. I get the pulling.
And extremely anticlimactically, nothing seems to happen.
Huh.
The door slowly creaks open. It does take a lot of your strength. You may have to even brace yourself, like on the other door, like putting like a foot up or something like that to get it started. Once it starts moving, the hinges seem to move with little trouble. But old as they are, and you know how it is, sometimes getting started is the hardest part.
Yeah, I suspect like pull with the thing till I got enough purchase to like use my hands, and now I'm not using the crossbow.
And about the time
I don't want to break it.
About the time that you switch to your hands is about when the hinges start to move a little easier, and you don't need to brace yourself. The door is still heavy as all get out, but it is well balanced and it is still hung well. The stone that it's attached to does not seem to have shifted much, if at all. And so it doesn't like drag on the ground or brush against the frame in any way that causes it to be problematic. So it's well made. And maybe a little odd, seeing as how old this place looks.
No one is taking the initiative to go in, then.
No. I'm on top of the others again. Okay.
Okay. I'll say, like, Drasus will go in, but I expect someone decided to, like, step in here.
If anybody else hesitates, Brina, like, shoots through the doorway.
If nothing of note happens as the doors open, Vincent would also walk in.
Okay.
I'll follow after Vincent.
Drasus will
hold the door for people.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel like it's going to close back on anybody, but you know, he's a gentleman.
Vincent gives him a wink as he walks by.
It's about this time that Nio actually catches up with the party and walks through just before Drasus and says thank you and pats you on the shoulder as he's clearly out of breath.
You got it, kid.
That nat one.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'll be fine. Clearly, someone who is not well conditioned.
Drink a little water. Don't drink it too fast, Grandpa.
Already cramping. Don't think it could get worse.
It could. And the Drasus just walks in.
His face kind of drops a little. Oh. And he takes a very small sip and then steps through the door behind you. The light streaming in from the outside shows a hallway that's equal in size to the doors, a little bit wider, as the frame and such definitely takes into account that. From what you can see, there is a lot of darkness and shadow. So any of you who do have dark vision would be able to pick up grays and such, and can see the stonework, and that there is some like alcoves carved into them.
I'm pretty sure our entire party doesn't have dark vision.
I thought so.
Nope.
We might need to light some torches, y'all.
Vincent will light a torch.
Fair enough.
Sunflower will take torch duty too. No problem.
Well, as you light up the torches, it'll cascade light around you, and you'll be able to see stone and dust, probably similar to what you experienced in the heart or the vaults of River Heart, as it was kind of sitting there. Not less debris, because it didn't have a ceiling that caved in, but definitely that level of kind of dust that just accumulates over time from wind and whatever the case may be. This is clearly some sort of created structure, and as you get a little ways in, you will notice that you come to a fork in the hallway. There's one passageway to the left and another to the right. Now it's not a T intersection. They take off kind of like Y. It's more like a Y intersection.
Well, do we close our eyes, spin around in a circle, and then go in the direction that feels right?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
That's got me here.
Is there any indication that anyone like spends time down here still, or does it look abandoned?
Is there any particular skill that you would like to apply to that assessment, or
Investigation.
Sure.
A 21.
It looks maybe abandoned, at minimum dormant. As you kind of analyze the layers of dust, they are clearly absolutely thick enough to have been decades, if not centuries.
Okay.
But it doesn't, from your current vantage point at this intersection, it doesn't look like some sort of calamity happened or something that would have left it abandoned per se, as much as maybe people just stopped coming. Like someone's, cabin in the woods and they just decide they don't like traveling there anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of a concept.
Okay, I'll pass that on to the party. And then I'll reach into my pocket and I'll just take a peek as I grab the whimsy stone just to see if it points me in a direction.
Before you do, Sunflower's going to be very baffled by the concept of people just stopping coming somewhere. She'd be like, well, but why? Why would you just stop? Why? That doesn't make sense to me.
I'm with Sunflower. That's silly.
I mean,
there must be a reason.
Certainly there.
This place is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It could have been a place where they had access to resources that they used all of the resources and it's no longer functional. Could have been dangerous. There could be memories that they didn't want to deal with that are still down here for them. There's a lot of reasons people leave places.
Fascinating.
Have you heard the echo here? It is so good.
That's
hello.
Hello.
That's
so good.
There is no
Sunflower,
response.
people die.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Most people.
Looks pointedly at Vincent.
each day we die a little more.
Oh.
Sunflower, I need you to, for me, I need you to make a charisma save.
Oh, okay. That's a 9.
We'll come back, but for the moment, right now, everything just kind of like darkens into that same feeling as though you've just drifted off into a dream state.
Okay. You kind of spaced out. Okay.
Yep. So Sunflower kind of stops mid-conversation and spaces out as the rest of you are talking. Brina is looking at the stone and looking at the two different hallways and goes, I don't know. We don't have a map. We don't know what's in this place, other than it's important to the Order of 8. Or was important.
It doesn't seem to be important now. Was there any indication as I grabbed the whimsy stone?
As you grab the whimsy stone, let's refresh my memory on your words.
Mine was tomorrow.
Unbound tomorrow brings freedom. It is not. It's wavering between the two directions, and it seems to hover more toward the right than the left, but doesn't seem to give a strong indication in your hands.
Will. Half our party had to get up and leave.
No worries. Then I'm going to go to Sunflower. As things faded to a sleep-like blackness, you see that shooting stars again as they spin past, worlds spin past, clearer than in the vault. and you see a figure that you haven't seen before appear to you. Another earth elemental. This one not as broad and definitely taller. They, instead of moving their face about their body, leave it in what would be what would be their head and smile down upon you. In that moment, there is a glow in their chest that is that reveals kind of the outline of the heart. And you feel a warmth in the torso of your being about the same position.
Well, that's new.
Schematically speaking, this would be where your characters... what would they call it here, Stephen? Their soul stone for Warforged.
I think they wouldn't really necessarily even have a name for it. Most of the information about Warforged is lost.
Okay. It would be in what you know of biology about the same position as the heart. Somewhere around there in the center of your torso, upper center of your torso.
I think Sunflower would probably think of it as like her like core almost, like, you know, because even Sunflower doesn't entirely know her own biology, but she kind of says like, oh well, that's kind of like the core component, like the stuff that's in this spot kind of helps make the rest of me work. So okay, the core is warm, and that's very new. She kind of like looks down at her chest and is very confused and looks back at the elemental and just kind of keeps looking down and looking back up.
The elemental says, I hope my intrusion does not cause you distress, but I needed to thank you.
Thank me? What
Yes,
for?
you and your friends reunited me with my partner.
I met your partner.
Yes.
Well, it's lovely to meet you. I'm happy that I can speak to you right now. And she's genuinely feels this warm happiness. Like it's very new for her, but she's feeling very, very warm.
She said, she doesn't elaborate much more. And she goes, well, I know you're busy, and I have worked, well, millennia worth of work to return to. But I wanted to thank you personally, Ophelia. It was very kind.
I'm sorry, there must be a misunderstanding. My name is Sunflower.
And she fades away.
Wait!
Thank you, Ophelia. You are a good soul.
What? Ophelia?
And your vision returns. You feel a little, dazed, like you were daydreaming, which is not a sensation Sunflower has ever had, but it feels extremely familiar to you in this exact moment.
I feel like Sunflower, again, her face doesn't really move or change very much, but I feel like she almost puts her hands up to her eyes and rubs them. You almost get this feeling that she's trying to shake herself awake from something, scratches the back of her head, rubs her eyes a little, kind of seems to try and come back into the present, kind of takes a deeper breath than she normally does.
When was the last time, if ever, that Sunflower actively had a sleep or dream state?
I would say that she doesn't really need sleep very much. And I'm just double checking a thingamajig real quick. So she'll be in an inactive and a motionless state, So I can like see and hear as normal, but she hasn't really like tried to like sleep. I think it was something that she like sleep itself is something that she tried like very early on after waking up, and like since then she's just kind of like I think like zoned out and like had like a dream state. So like honestly, I think even on the ship she would have probably at some point entered into a dream state because I know that she had that dream about Dwayne too.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's not. Is it common for her to have these states?
No,
That's
I would
my
say
question.
I would say it's more like once in a blue moon, like every now and again.
And now it's 2 in the matter of 2 days.
Yeah, weird.
One of which when you were fully functional.
Very weird.
Neither of which felt uncomfortable.
Doubly weird. Triply weird. I think Sunflower actually just like in the middle of this conversation, not realizing what's going on, just kind of yells out to the room, "Come back!"
What? We didn't go anywhere.
No, not you. She was here. The partner.
Arias.
What?
Arias. Thank you.
Did a rock hit you in the head?
No, Arias, the partner. Do you remember we met Dwayne the stone elemental, and he told us about his partner Arias and the heart. Well, she's here, or she was. She said she had to go, but she was here. And you see Sunflower's like looking around frantically, like her voice has gone up a couple of octaves. She said she had to go, but she was here. She said she wanted to thank us. I don't know where she's gone.
Vincent, give that stone thingy to Sunflower.
I'll take it out of my pocket and hand it to her.
Sunflower will put her hands out and take it kind of like cupped in both of her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll look down at it and see if it does anything.
It points almost due east, maybe a little bit north of due east from where you're standing. So now in roll 20, I throw a little map up just for you to help you visualize what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So if you all are standing approximately where the number 1 is located, it would be pointing at the number 3.
Okay.
And apologies, chat. Our map page had some huge technical difficulties, so unfortunately it's not going to be on the screen for you.
Theater of the mind.
But I'll tweet out the map after the show's done.
I think Sunflower is going to, mention the fact that it's pointing, and she's going to say, I want to follow it. I want to find Arias if I can. She called me a different name. I don't know why.
What? Like Mr. Sunflower?
No, she called me Ophelia. I don't know who that is.
Well, that sounds made up.
Maybe that's who you used to be.
Yeah.
Huh?
You don't have any memories.
Yeah.
And what if that's your name?
Once upon a time, I was Ophelia.
I'm not saying you were, but I do agree with Drasis, surprisingly.
Strangely enough, that makes an incredible lot of sense that someone so ancient and powerful would know me by an older name. I'm slightly annoyed still, because she should also know me by my current name, but, I mean, I guess I don't blame her.
Did you introduce yourself with your new name?
No, she knew who I was already, so maybe that's why.
You gotta redo introductions. We gotta find her.
Yeah, we gotta find her.
Mm-hmm.
I just would not. I would be concerned that. Don't get your hopes up that we're going just because we follow this stone that we're going to find her. I think we'll find something.
No, of course. I mean, she said she had to go, so part of me is definitely not convinced that I'm going to find her, but I have to follow it anyways. I need answers.
Absolutely. I just wanted to give you that little piece that I mean, so far when we followed it, it hasn't really led us to what we expected.
Oh, Vincent, you're wrong. You want to know why? Are you ready? And like they're gonna like jump up from Drastus's shoulders and like a whole little finger in your face. Do you want to know why you're wrong? Because we got prophecies, and Sunflower's prophecy was the way to your true name. And wouldn't it make sense that this whimsy would lead Sunflower to Ophelia if that's the truth?
Yes, I'm saying she wanted. I was just saying she said she wanted to find the person or the being who just communicated with her. And
Who has the answers? It's all connected.
Sure. You know what? I'm sure you're right.
Okay, thank you.
After you, Sunflower.
Of course. And Sunflower will lead the way for chatting, and some of them are descriptive. Sunflower will lead the way to the right down a diagonal angled hallway up north to a more square kind of chamber. And then as she's following the Whimsy Stone, I guess, would it basically lead her to where the 3 is, Chris?
Yes. As you walk down the hallway, you will notice these alcoves. They are about eye level for the bulk of you. They're above Brina's head as to where the base of them begins. And so they're clearly not doorways because they don't start at the floor. They start about 4 feet, 5 feet up at the base and then go up to about that far from the ceiling. And within them, if you poke around, you'll notice they are, all of them seem to be depictions of individuals. These are sculptures made of stone, single pieces of stone. And as you make it to that square chamber that Sunflower had mentioned, you'll notice within it, it's a large meeting area of some sort. In the center, there is an extremely, I would say it takes up 4 wide, 3 high, a round table with chairs around it takes up about that much of the center. The chairs are big enough for, giants. In the corners, except for one, in the northwest corner, there's another doorway. But in the other 3 corners, you'll find kind of like, I don't know if you all have ever seen, they were big in like the 80s and 90s, corner cabinets that you kind of set in.
Yeah.
Yep. So the same kind of setup, except these are stone with metal framed doors and leaded glass fronts that you can tell there's shelving behind them. What's on it is a little distorted by the glass itself, but because the shelving comes out just to the edge right behind the doors, you can see the shadow of the fronts of the shelves, which gives you that impression of that's what's behind them. And then there's a doorway on the east wall, which is where the Whimsy Stone would imply, because now it's pointing southeast from where you're standing, Sunflower. It seems to be pointing a direct route this time, while last time for Drassus, it pointed the path to take.
Okay. Sunflower is going to continue to follow the direct path.
So, Sunflower will exit through the room, around the table, and through the doorway. The doors are cracked open a bit, and they open outward from this room rather than inward. And you will find a long stretch of room at the end of it. The southern end of this room, or this rectangle, is almost a circular sort of construction. In fact, It is actually an octagon with the northernmost barrier being open to the rest of the room. And in the center of it, where you all would see the number 3, there's an extremely large anvil, at which the Whimsy Stone seems to be pointing directly to.
There.
Yeah, Sunflower will approach.
With your torchlight and everything, you can see that the anvil is made of a similar metal as the hinges and door handles and frames. Basically, all the metal in this place is this reddish steel. This is
Smithy reacting to this, actually.
What's that?
Brina.
How's our Smithy reacting?
Yeah.
How's Brina reacting to this?
Brina is awestruck. Her eyes are huge. She's walking around the anvil. She's carrying the large rock, the rock baby, like a baby, and carefully balancing this notebook that she pulled out from somewhere and is scribbling notes on it as she's walking around and muttering to herself. And the anvil itself is taller than she is.
I think Drasus would just go up to the anvil and just put a hand on it, sort of. Like,
Are you worthy?
just in awe of like the size and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it is made of the same metal as a sword, everything.
It is
I think-
very faintly warm to the touch.
Ooh. I think Sunflower's gonna follow Drasus actually, and is gonna do the same thing. She's gonna touch the anvil as well. Just seems like an interesting / good idea.
Warm.
For you, Sunflower, I need you to make a
Oh, boy.
dexterity save.
Oh boy.
Target of 14.
It's an 11. Can I use a thing or actually
Sure.
let me ask you
want
this.
to.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Do you recommend I pass or fail? Recommend, not suggest. Suggest. You know, just if it's dramatically more beautiful for her to fail, I am perfectly okay failing.
I'm going to pose a question back to you.
Works for me.
How committed and focused is she on figuring out why the Whimsy Stone pointed her to this anvil?
It's the only thing she wants to know.
Then why would she move her hand away?
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, I'll take it. I'm good with this.
And a very light energy, almost a tingling, if Sunflower were biological, resonates throughout the shell of her being.
Is there anything visual happening to Sunflower that we could see as she
Not
touches
at this
it?
time.
Okay.
Okay.
The only different thing that you might see at this point, well, that depending on where, well, no, because you're on Drasus's shoulder, right, Morticia? So
Yeah.
Morticia would see that the Whimsy Stone is spinning again.
Okay.
That's different than that would have been a change at this point. However, you've seen the Whimsy Stone spin before,
With me on
typically
top.
when you're in a position that it
Oh,
would
when we're right.
stay, right?
Ah!
Yeah.
So like that isn't like out of the ordinary. It's just a change that would have that would be of notice. Drasus, because of the height difference, that would be available to you if you are looking about. If you're still more focused on the anvil, I'll leave it to you as to whether or not you notice it.
And unless the anvil did something to make me like stick to it, Drasus is like touch, keep it moving.
Okay.
Mm.
Then you might pick up on it then. Again, I'll leave that to you and the character as to whether or not you notice that spinning, which again, all of you have noted that pattern happens when you are somewhere that the stone wants you to be.
I think Morty would have exclaimed, like, "Oh, we're in the right place! It's spinning! I should get on top." And I would like those little ripcord fairies, like, to jump on top for a second, get some good momentum, and then go flying. Just for old time's sake.
Beautiful. So, yes, that is probably the strangest thing that happens from Vincent's perspective. I don't know how strange Vincent actually considers that after 3 days with this group.
It's more of an eye roll than a...
Yeah. We're in the right place. Whew, just a little dizzy now. What do we do?
So Brina's making notes. The other two, the siblings, are kind of standing back from things and kind of taking it in, and then they slowly go about the outside of this area, looking at what are like tool benches and cabinets and things that you would see in a smithy's area. This is clearly, or not just a ceremonial anvil. This place was functional.
Okay.
The question is, though, there is no forge. Like, there is no fire in this room.
Are there any indications of fire? Are there any indications of, like, burn marks on the ground or char or ash around the anvil or anything like that?
Give me an investigation.
Okay.
That's a good one. Or if you have a different skill that you would like to use that you feel is more appropriate.
No, most of my things are charisma based. So,
as such, you're such a charming individual.
Persuasive and charming don't have to go hand in hand.
20 solid. Mixed within the dust and such that you find, you will note that there is soot around the base of the anvil. That would be just from a visual standpoint. With a 20, you will notice that some of that, what is different is than the dust that you see elsewhere, besides the color, the charred carbon-based color change, is that there are flecks of material also mixed in with this. So for people, for player-wise, for anyone who is familiar or has watched bladesmiths actually forge something, you will see that as they pound at the metal, there's times where it'll chip off as they're shaping it. And those are the kinds of flecks that I'm trying to describe here.
So I have a hunch, but I would it make sense in your mind for Vincent to be able to put together that perhaps there was some magic fire involved in this space?
Oh, that seems from the perspective of a caster, that definitely seems extremely logical, because if you look at the architecture around you, there doesn't look to be a place in the floor where there's a gap where a forge would have been set. None of the furniture in this area looks like it was somehow like a mobile forge that they picked up and moved to different positions. So as a caster, the next most logical conclusion obviously must be magic, right?
Yeah, I'll say, I think whoever worked here did everything with magic, not with like traditional fire and coal, and I think a lot of magic was probably done here, and I would assume created here.
Leona, is Sunflower still keeping that connection?
Yep, definitely.
There is a warmth that is now included, as that sensation, that energy is building a little bit and is now swirling not just along the shell of Sunflower's being, but starting to permeate toward the core. of their being.
I feel like it's almost like you know when metal has like a resonance.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like she's feeling a resonance. You know, I think that's how she would describe it.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, she's just sticking with it. She doesn't know what it is, but it's warm. It doesn't feel unwelcoming, I think, and I think she's just gonna stick with it because the last time she felt this way was with Arias, and that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
So yeah, she's gonna stick with it. You know, it's just like a razor focus. Like her hand is on the anvil, and she's staring at her hand on the anvil, and there is nothing else. Like she's listening, and so she understands that Vincent is saying that this place was forged with magic, but nothing else matters right now. You know.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming in the other hand, still holding the Whimsy Stone. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep. Like this.
What would Drasus? What would be the next thing that Drasus would look for or look into?
Drasus is actually looking to see if there's any weapons or anything that may have been left over. Anything that's actually been forged around here. Not that he wants to wield it, just to know if there was anything like left that he could compare, like bolts or things of that nature to the sword that he has.
Well, there are tools for sure. We've already established that. So I'm going to roll percentage and see what likelihood. We're going for a 25% chance. Do you want low or high? So above 75 or 25 and below? Which would you prefer?
Let's go 25 and below.
99. No, there are no weapons.
Okay.
But there are definitely tools. And they are made of the same metal as everything else here. Except for the hammer. The hammer is made of a metal that is... The word black does not cover the extent of light that it absorbs.
Fanta black.
I was about to say.
It basically is almost like it is a void. It sucks in the light, and so it appears black.
How big is it?
For Drasus, you would consider it a maul, even though it is designed to be a smithing hammer. I would allow Drasus to wield it one-handed if they chose, at a lower damage die if you choose to acquire it. But the handle is is thick enough that wielding it two-handed would be more secure.
I think Drasus will pick it up, and he'll take it over to Brina.
It is
like, I know she can't wield it, but more just to like.
Oh, absolutely, but it is extremely well balanced. While you might have expected something of this size and weight to be very heavy at the end, in its current state, you pick it up and it's oddly well balanced and lighter than you would expect. Now it's still heavy because it's huge,
sure,
but it was unusual. When you bring it to Brina, she'll take a look at it. Her eyes still wide. She starts scribbling some more notes, and then like sticks her. It's a pen of sorts, but not with an internal well. Sticks that in her notebook, closes the book over it, and kind of like tucks it under her fingers that are cupping the rock baby, so it stays closed. And reaches out and like touches the handle, like traces along it with her fingers, and she looks at the pommel, the very bottom, the butt of the handle, and goes, I don't recognize that rune.
Is it similar to the one that's on my thing?
Yes.
Then I will.
In fact, it's the same.
I will show her the pommel of my sword. I will not unsheath it. I will just unstrap it and show her as like.
Yep. And in the spot where a maker's mark would be, it is the exact same rune.
When you have an opportunity, I would like to talk to you privately about my sword and this hammer.
Does anybody speak or read Giant? Read, more particularly.
I read everything.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
It is a name. As a maker's mark would be. And translating from Giant, you would say that it is a name that would be, let's see. What skill or knowledge would one have to understand the cultural significance of names?
History?
History, probably?
Is probably my best. Yes.
Each of you, give me a history check just to see how, if you know anything more than how to pronounce it. So, Dracis and
I
Vince,
cannot
you can
even
both read
pronounce it.
That works.
18.
I'm actually not going to roll because I think Sunflower's too focused and she's not paying
Makes sense.
13.
13 and
18.
I'm sorry, I missed it. 18. The name, and I'm just going to type it into Roll20 for you all, is Tekwar. The significance of how the rune is... so there are slight differences between the rune on the sword and the rune on the hammer. The rune on the sword is worked into the design of it to make it somewhat artistic, to fit with the flow of things, so it doesn't stand out in some sort of like awkward way. It doesn't obscure it or camouflage it in any way, but it just makes it a little more pleasing to the eye. With a combination of the 18 and the fact that your character, Vincent, is a wielder of magic, you'll also recognize that the rune on the hammer itself has a dual purpose. Not only does it give the name of who it belongs to, but it is an activation rune. And you think if you speak the name, it will activate something on the hammer itself.
I'm going to reach out and grab the hammer, or just put my hand on it. I'm not going to take it away. I'm going to just put my hand on it. And you'll just hear me say, Tekwar.
It becomes extremely heavy. Like the end of it now feels like a smithing hammer of the exact size.
Which I imagine as it gains weight that none of us are expecting, it just kind of slams into the ground.
I'll leave.
Dracis ain't gonna drop this thing.
No, Dracis might be taken by surprise, but I don't expect him to have dropped it to the ground.
21 in strength, baby.
It'll wobble a little bit.
All right,
but not as much as anyone might think.
Does anything else change?
What did you do?
Does anything else change on it, or just the weight?
No, it's just the weight.
Always...
It seems to be a very functional rune. I want to carry this around, but I don't want to have to lug how heavy it is. So I've enchanted it to make it easier to carry, and when I'm ready to smith it, I activate the rune, or smith with it. I activate the rune, and now I can use it as a smithing hammer.
So I'll say the name again, and then I'll say, I believe that's the name of the individual who used this hammer. And points at the rune on your sword, and I would presume made your sword.
Matchy match.
Which is the same conclusion, Drasus, you would have come to. However, you didn't realize that it was an activation rune on the hammer itself.
So, do we know anything about this person? I mean, they're magical. That's like not always okay, but pretty cool.
Give me a high or low. What do you want? High or low?
Oh, hi.
4. Okay. Your bestie, Karis, says, I think I found their journal.
I love diaries. Read out a passage. Read one out loud.
I don't speak giant.
Dang it. Vincent. Could you just jazz up your voice a little when you talk?
No.
All right.
Drasus, do you want to do a dramatic reading?
My vocal cords aren't what they used to be.
I don't speak giant.
Oh, you don't?
Oh, I got Common, Dwarvish, Minotaur, and Orc.
But yeah, I'll look at it and read it. Well, I don't know if I'll read it out loud. I'll at least read it.
Okay. The page in which it's open to, is referencing some sort of creation that the Order of 8 had contracted them to build parts for, called the Soulbound.
I'll pass that on. There's something about it's almost like a inventory list or an order for parts for something called a Soulbound.
Now, Sunflower, how much, or maybe Stephen, how much would the Academy have told Sunflower about what she is?
Very little. They wouldn't know very much.
Would they have known that name?
They would probably have at least found some information on that name, but other than that, that would be about it.
Then, Sunflower, you would be aware that is typically what people in Evastria call Warforged.
Okay. I think Sunflower, who is still listening, keeps her hand on the anvil, but she kind of speaks up at that, and she goes, "That's me."
They made you.
Yes.
Whoa.
I'm gonna keep flipping through and see if I can find more information on
Sunflower. Yeah. While you do that, Sunflower keeps speaking. The professor who revived me essentially said that some townsperson had found me abandoned, damaged in a forest or a grove or something like that. I was somewhere in the middle of nowhere, a broken husk. But maybe this is where I was made before I was found.
Huh. Do you want to get on like on the anvil and see if it feels like a bed?
What?
What?
No? Does that not make... I mean, it made a lot of sense in my head. Maybe I don't know how Warforged are made. That's a brand new word to my own vocab.
Oh my god.
I'm doing my best.
It's like an operating table or something. I hate it. I love it. It's so funny because I hate it.
From what you can see and what you can tell, you do not believe that this is where Soulbound were constructed. This is where parts of them were created. but not where they were put together like it would be some sort of operating table or whatnot.
I don't think you were made here, actually. I think I feel weird saying this to you, so I'm not trying to. Anyways,
You
Just
could
say
say
it.
it to me.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Thanks, Morty. Pieces of you, I think, were made here, but not you. If that makes
I see.
sense.
Yes, of course. That makes complete sense. I have changed out components of myself and modified myself, so it makes sense that different pieces of me were made in different places before I was put together.
So,
Surprisingly, zero offense at this.
like a manufacturing plant.
It is a
Perhaps,
forge,
yes.
after all, Brandon points out. This is where we create items or pieces of things. For example, you don't make a whole Nerenian airship in a place like this. It wouldn't fit. Well, this is big enough you could fit a very small one, but you create the parts and then you assemble it elsewhere.
Sure. Makes sense.
We keep running into this Order of the Eight, and I know that's why we came here, but I didn't think that they would have, like, been so deeply connected to one of us.
More than that, I feel like this is all tying us together over and over again.
So what do we do?
Find answers.
I mean, there's more to explore, right? Oh, Sunflower, yeah.
Oh, and out of character, I was going to ask, does anything more happen to Sunflower while she's touching the anvil, or does it kind of dissipate?
It is holding steady at this point. I'm basically tracking how long you hold on to it.
That feels like a ticking time bomb situation. Okay.
It depends on how much connection you actually make to the anvil. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
The Jeopardy.
It's been dormant for a long time,
Right.
and because of that,
Well, is there? I think, if Sunflower is
Mhm.
noticing a connection, I think she'd be trying to like see if there's anything she can do to it. I don't
Mhm.
know if there's any like visible indication of like something needing to be done, like if it needs to be dusted off or anything like that. I'm not sure.
I mean, there is dust and such on it.
I think she'll brush that off then.
Okay.
Kind of wipe it clean, give it a. I don't know. She's using like her hem or something, and just like clearing off some of the dust.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea. Don't know if it's a good one, but
Oh, then it's
you
probably
spellcaster folks, could you make this smaller?
Make it smaller?
Yeah,
That's out of my
anvil.
That's out of my repertoire, unfortunately.
Don't. Yeah. Not sure how I can do that. But how about one wild idea gets met with another one?
Sure.
What if the hammer struck the anvil?
Ooh, do it.
That seems like that's on you, Dracis.
Okay.
What's the worst that can happen?
Nothing.
Never say that.
That's
Never,
all everyone
ever
knows.
say that.
I
And Drass is
think
just over the head, just boom.
As the hammer strikes the anvil,
Right before it strikes the anvil, I'm gonna say the name again.
Oh,
so
right.
heavy?
Oh, right.
Okay.
But like, if you
This is
time
not-
it really well, it'll
I
actually
will
like.
say, I will say this might come across as Vincent being a punk internally. That is not the purpose. It's more like if that's a magic rune, maybe activating it will help whatever's happening. But it does come across as him being a punk.
As you strike the anvil and the hammer gets heavy again, as you swing downward with the uttering of the name, it rings out in a very clear and almost overwhelming sound. You feel it kind of radiate out from the anvil and through each of you, and it echoes throughout the hall. There is a light, very light glow to the anvil, like a haze at the edge of your vision of it in particular. Like it's almost just barely out of focus around its edges. But the oddest thing that happens is you'll notice about 3/4 of the way up, which we're really out of sight in most people's perspective, there are a series of stones that jut out, crystals that jut out, that light up and give off a warm glow.
I would like to hold one. Can they be broken off, or are they kind of like...
No, they're embedded in the walls, and they are about the size of... what would be a good comparison? Maybe 4 times the size of Morticia.
Okay.
You can go give one a hug.
Oh,
I mean, they're bright enough, especially when you get closer. Oddly enough, you think the light's turned on because the way they cascade light throughout here, it makes your torches unnecessary.
feels like we're finally welcome. I will give this light a hug. Thank you. Brightening up our day.
Sunflower, did anything change for you?
Sunflower will approach the anvil again and touch it again. She moved out of the way for the hammer.
As you reconnect with it, there's a much stronger resonance of energy. The warmth returns quickly and kind of, and throughout your entire being. You feel that glow inside again. And to others, as you look upon Sunflower, you will notice that there are parts of her being that have a more reddish tinge to them than they did before.
Upgrade.
Something's happening to you.
Blushing blossoms? That was not good.
Power level. It's over 9,000.
Much better.
Sunflower will say, I don't, it doesn't feel bad. It feels like a stronger connection. I almost want Drassus to do it again.
Hit the hammer! Hit the anvil!
What if you keep your hand on the anvil while he hits it?
Okay.
Like,
Not touch the
not
side
hit my
of it.
hand.
Don't hit the hand.
okay. I almost wanted to
remaining
jump in on that.
Not going to smash Sunflower.
Okay.
Bonk it
We do it
why
again?
not?
All right.
This time I'll take something out of my pockets and plug my ears a little bit, though.
As you swing the hammer down, this time with the weight fully engaged for the entirety of the swing, it rings out again. Energy kind of shivers and shakes and courses through Sunflower's being. kind of like you were jolted out of a sleep.
Ooh.
And inside your head, Sunflower, you hear, where am I?
Ah! Who are you? What?
And that is where we'll end.
Ooh, damn.
Oh! Amazing.
Oh my god!
What a great spot to end. Holy smokes.
Well,
Wow.
Well. Something about let sleeping giants lie?
No.
Let the sleeping giants lie? I guess we didn't let the sleeping giants lie, so.
No.
No, it sounds like
No.
you know,
We turn the lights on.
purposely turned on the lights and
should have just
rang the bell.
hit the snooze button, and
The thing is, we already had 2 party members who had an outside person who could communicate with them. We've got Adam. Adam can talk to Morticia, and Drassus can talk to his son and his sword.
Huh.
Mhm.
And
No.
now you have a voice in your head. So we're
I mean,
Wonderful.
Vincent's the only one that purposely is avoiding the voice that he once could talk to. So
Ooh.
that's
I
very
like
true.
that.
That's
a
never
warlock.
gonna come back and
Fall
bite
down.
us in the ass.
Oh no, goodness.
No, I'll give y'all this. Vincent's interested in the voice that he used to talk to, just not yet. There's just some
Okay.
some things that have to happen. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us again this week. This will be up on YouTube soon when I have time to get it up. We have a new episode of the Faeforge Academy that comes out tomorrow, where if you are familiar with Wally132, they were a guest with us for the last little arc that we've done. It's been a lot of fun playing a fairy who likes to fight people.
Yeah.
Fight, but not like an anger issue, like fighting as a hobby.
Okay.
So a lot of fun. Yeah. So check that out. My friends, y'all are amazing. B, I think you have to go pretty quick. So why don't you tell people where they can find you and stuff, and then if you need to jet, you can do that.
It will mess up the overlay, and I don't want to do that to you.
It's very. We'll go fast.
Okay, hello. I'm the non-binary Busy Bee, podcaster, streamer, and community manager for D&D Adventures League. If you want to follow me, you can do so as @B_Zelda. That's me.
Prince.
Hey everybody, I'm Prince, also known as Dimples and Dice around the internet, and that's where you can find me. Dimples and Dice, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. Come see me Sunday for my D&D campaign. If you like watching me do D&D, I'm in the driver's seat for that one. That is a Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign called Wayward Revelry. It has been wonderful so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens as they start to investigate the Witchlight Carnival a little bit more. It's going to be interesting.
Awesome. Leona.
Hello, my name is Leona. You can find me on Twitter @TheLeonaMaple. That is the best place to find me and follow me and keep up with whatever it is that I am doing, because I do too many things, including streams and podcasts and being a sensitivity reader and DEI consultant for anything that you're working on, including a tabletop RPG project. So, yeah, come see me on Twitter. Easiest way to find out.
And Chris.
Hey everyone, my name's Chris Geary. You can find me on Twitter @ChrisGeary, and you can find me here Thursdays as the DM of the Reclamation Project.
Yeah. Thanks everyone in chat for hanging out with us. We're gonna load up a raid, but so that our cast can go, we're gonna go to our ending screen. But I think we're gonna raid Eugenio, who's playing some Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda. So
This
thanks
is
for being
Eugenio's
here.
last personal stream too.
Is it really?
And for a month or something. I should have added that part.
Still. So we're gonna go give him some love. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see y'all soon. Bye.